Hey guys, Spectre here. Today we're going to be doing a video on some DBD perk builds, both for solo and for team play. So I'm going to talk about some perk synergies that you might not know about if you're a newer player. And even if you're a more advanced player, some of these tips are pretty old, and some new ideas with some of the newer perks.
Alright guys, I would really appreciate a like and subscription on this video if you're not already subscribed. I really put a lot of effort into these videos and thinking of perk builds, so a like and a subscription means the world to me. Thanks guys.
Okay, so the first build we're going to look at is Lithe, Spine Chill, Resilience, and Quick and Quiet. So this is a Houdini build for vaulting on Survivor. So what's going to happen is you have Lithe to get away from your vault fairly quickly. Spine Chill and Resilience, when active, both combine for an additional 15% vaulting speed. So you know when you're at a vault and you think you should really be making it, and sometimes you don't, this will help with that. So being able to vault 15% faster means that you might escape the killer on a vault that you might not have made otherwise, and then you're going to take Quick and Quiet, so that if you do vault, or if you do get away and confuse the killer, you'll be able to stay quiet and not alert them. If you're a newer player and you'd rather have a healing perk, the Quick and Quiet is really optional, as the killer will probably be right behind you, and it won't really matter whether you make a noise going over the vault or not. So you can take another useful perk like self-care or inner strength in order to get healing. Or if you have tools, you could take Streetwise or Built to Last or something else that'll synergize with the rest of your build. Okay, so I call this build the Fear of Lockers. So obviously you have Head On apply directly to forehead. For those of you who don't know what that is, basically you have to stay in a locker for 3 seconds. Once 3 seconds is up, Head On is active. If the killer is standing in front of the locker, you can hit shift and space to jump out of the locker, and you stun the killer for 3 seconds, and then you're exhausted for 40 seconds. And then note, you can't use Head On when you have idle crows, so basically just make sure that you're not in the locker for too long or it doesn't think you're AFK. Inner Strength, so after cleansing a totem, once you're inside a locker for 8 seconds, then you'll be healed. So obviously these two perks have some synergy, as you have to sit in a locker for at least 3 seconds for Head On to activate, and then another 5 seconds for Inner Strength. So if a killer is chasing you and they know you have Head On, sometimes you'll be able to hop into a locker and then pop your Inner Strength while you're in the locker, so that way once you're out of the locker you'll be healed and you'll be able to use your Head On to stun the killer. So this one is where it gets a little special and different than other people. Most people really hate this perk, Vigil, but here I think it's really applicable to this perk, especially if you're running this with friends. What you can do is you can sit in both basement lockers, and if one of your friends is exhausted, they'll recover 20% faster for just being beside you. So if all of you run this and it stacks, then that's 80% faster for exhaustion. So you can keep hitting the killer over and over and over again with Head On fairly quickly. And then you're going to run Quick and Quiet to make sure that when you jump into a locker, the killer isn't able to hear you. So this doesn't work on exhaustion and can only be triggered every 20 seconds. So make sure you don't accidentally shift vault over something and waste it before jumping into a locker. So for solo play, an alternative to the last build is playing with Head On and Inner Strength still. So you have those two that are synergistic together, and then you also run Empathy. I'll normally run Empathy for any save build that I'm running, so if I'm running a flashlight build or something else and I'm running solo keys, I'll run Empathy so that way I can see the other survivors and I can heal them up or I can get into a strategic position so that when a survivor gets down, they'll walk past my locker in this case, and I'll be able to stun them. And then still quick and quiet as well. Alright, so the next thing I have for you guys is a build to try with you and your friends that's super frickin' annoying. So you're going to run Tenacity, Unbreakable, No Mither, and Resilience. So you're running Tenacity because you can crawl 50% faster, so you can get away from the killer if they don't have any perks that are built to find you on the ground. You can get away quite quickly. You're going to run Unbreakable for the 35% increase in dying recovering speed. You're going to run the No Mither. Although you'll always be broken, you still get the 35% from this, and you can crawl super fast. So these three all work together for being slugged, and it forces the killer to pick you up. So the killer is going to have to pick you up and have to hook you, and your friends can all be running flashlights with add-ons. And then you're going to be running Resilience because you always get the 9% increase in all your action speeds because you're always injured from No Mither. So these two are synergistic together. So an alternative for this build is instead of running Resilience, you can run Breakout. Also, for all of you who didn't know, perks are in alphabetical order. I'm just kind of dumb. Breakout, there we go. So when within 6 meters of a carried survivor, you gain the haste status effect and move at a 7% increased speed. The carried survivor's wiggle speed is increased by 20%. So, if all three of you are doing this and all three of you swarm the killer when someone's about to go down, that means that their wiggle speed is increased by 60% and they're likely to wiggle off the hook. What you're going to want to do for an offering for this build, by the way, is a Petrified Oak if all four of you have it. So this is a really annoying build altogether because the killer can't leave you on the ground, so they're not going to be able to slug, but they're also not going to be able to get you to the hook because of Breakout. And in some cases, a combination of Resilience for the increased speeds. So for the next perk build, we have Soul Guard, Decisive Strike, Unbreakable, and Adrenaline. So you have Soul Guard and Decisive Strike, so that while you're hooked, if you're slugged, after you get up from being slugged, you have Endurance for 8 seconds, so you can be hit and still keep going, and then you'll have 20 seconds to mend yourself. You have Decisive Strike for if you're farmed. You have Unbreakable, so that you can get yourself up and use Soul Guard. And then you have Adrenaline because it's a good perk in general. Alright, so the next build is made for some of you who are born for the clutch. So if you find your friends are plebs and leave you in a position where it's a one-on-one against the killer, where all three of them are hooked or two of them are hooked, this build's for you. So we have Desperate Measures, We'll Make It, Borrowed Time, and No One Left Behind. So Desperate Measures gives you a 14% increase in healing and unhook actions for each injured, hooked, or dying survivor. So if your team's all down or hooked, obviously you'll get a huge increase of 42%, I believe. Please don't check my math on that. You gain a 100% speed increase while healing others for the next 90 seconds with We'll Make It, so obviously you can unhook them quickly, and then you get 100 and something percent speed increase for healing between the two of these because you get a 48% and another 100%, so basically you're going to have fairly instant heals with a medkit. You have Borrowed Time for if the killer's camping, because they tend to do that when they have 3 people knocked or hooked. And we have No One Left Behind for the endgame Clutch Lord. If you gotta go back and get your friend, you're gonna want to have this. Another 50% bonus for unhooking survivors in the endgame, and then you'll have all auras of all the survivors revealed to you in the end. So another variation of the previous perk build uses the same concept, except instead of Borrowed Time for the added clutch ability, you're gonna take botany knowledge to be able to increase your healing speed and item efficiency by 33%. And this is the best variation in my opinion for pure healing percentage. For your first aid kit for this build, you can either take a Ranger med kit, which has more charges but is going to be slower, so you're able to take abdominal dressing and medical scissors to speed that up a little bit, and then your 33% increase will help you make that last longer. Or what you can do is you can take a emergency med kit with abdominal dressing and medical scissors, and this should be enough, although it takes away 8 charges. Since you have 33% efficiency, if it stacks correctly, this should be enough so that you still get 1 full heal out of your med kit extremely quickly in the end game, because that'll be 50% bonus, 48% bonus, something like that, and then 100% bonus plus another 33% bonus, which will be very, 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 very fast at healing. Okay, so this is an additional variation from one of the locker builds from earlier. So you're going to run head-on, object of obsession, inner strength, and quick and quiet. So the idea behind this build is that you'll run inner strength to get the killer's attention. So once they start to head towards you, you're going to have cleanse the totem so that you can heal if you need to. You have head on, so you need to be standing in the locker for 3 seconds. So when you jump into a locker, it blocks aura reading for both killers and you, so the killer will no longer be able to see you. So they're not going to know what happened and why the aura went away. They're going to think you just walked away. So while they're walking by from object of obsession, you jump out of the locker, hit them with head on, and run. And the quick and quiet is that so that you can jump into a locker quickly without alerting them and use head on effectively. So the last 2 perks that I wanted to highlight together was the use of head on and diversion instead of a perk in any of the other builds. So what you do is you run head on, you have one of your buddies get into a locker, and you have another one of your buddies running diversion, throw the pebble at the locker that you're in, the killer goes to check the locker, you hit them with head on, and you run away. Thank you guys for watching all the way through the video. I am trying to be live on Twitch every day at Spectre spect0rr.ttv. The link will be in the description. I'll be playing all these perk builds, some DBD, some Sea of Thieves, some other games. Let me know what you would like to see next in a video, whether it be like a juke montage or more perk builds or some Sea of Thieves or other games in the comments. And I will see you guys in the fog.